We're in April,
hmm
and this month is our fifth year recording this podcast.
It's our anniversary.
We made it. We did
Us
it.
and you and me. This is Shayna,
And Chris,
and we are Bad Queers. If you came out of the closet and got put in a box of stereotypes you don't belong to, then welcome to the Bad Queers Club.
this week in Queer Urban Dictionary, I have AMAB. AMAB, which stands for Assigned Male at Birth. Deeper dive into this. We already did AFAB a couple weeks ago. Uh, AMAB and AFAB are inclusive descriptors that are meant to emphasize that as children, we are assigned a sex based solely on external characteristics. However, this label is incomplete as your gender identity and expressions are parts of your identity that only you can determine for yourself.
That's
Only you.
like it's giving Smokey the Bear.
I know. I did it, I
It
wanted
did.
to go for PSA 90s something. Only you.
I mean, that was a
Finally,
PSA in the 90s, so that's
Yeah.
just the direction that it ended up. Only you can prevent
Yeah.
forest
I've seen
fires.
the memes of Smokey being like, only you could put out the forest fires because we all got fired by Doge, which, you know,
It's too real.
it's a sad flip.
I don't need
It's a
to do that
sad,
to Smokey.
sad story arc for us millennials.
You don't need to do that to Smokey.
Yeah. Mm, yeah. Smokey's like,
Wild.
I am unemployed.
Yeah.
So only you,
Literally
only
only
you,
you.
like literally only you. So, mm,
Wow. Wow.
mm-mm-mm.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
lift us up.
I don't I don't know if mine is lifted.
Doesn't
I
even
don't know if
matter.
it got lifted. Like John Legend would say, I don't know if it's getting lifted.
Mm.
Um, but my queer urban dictionary word of the week is Tina. Tina is used in LGBTQ plus spaces, particularly among gay and bisexual men, as well as the trans community. Tina is a slang term for methamphetamine
Oh,
or meth.
well.
That's why I was like, I don't know if this is lifting
It's
up.
kind of a lift,
Uh,
not the healthiest,
I mean,
not the
it
healthiest. A lift we don't advocate
we
for.
yes, that one. That one. This nickname is commonly used in conversations about party culture, chemsex, which is short for chemically assisted sex, and substance abuse in the community. My sentence: Tina's origins come from a hidden way of referring to meth without saying the name of the drug. It likely comes from shortening and slightly modifying the word crystal, which I think is a reach. A reach. But okay. In crystal meth and turning it
A
into Tina.
reach,
I got
a
this
reach,
from Pride Detox. Yeah, that when they described that, I was like, what, that there's an A in there? Because that's really it. That's the only
a reach, a
we're
reach. Yeah, that
stretching.
A is a
Stretching
little,
hard. Trying to touch your toes
yeah.
with that. Yeah. Really trying to touch your
Huh.
toes.
Hmm.
Tina.
Tina, Tina.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
Tina responsibly, I guess. I don't
is
know.
there a responsible wait? There's no,
I think
I
there
mean,
is. There is
there
a book that I
there
still haven't
is.
finished reading where I think you could responsibly take most drugs, but there are some drugs where I'm like, I don't know. And meth is one of them.
Yeah.
Where I'm like,
I know
I
there's a lot of
just
testing
don't.
ways. I know there's a lot of like safety precautions, and everybody should learn those.
Yeah, but just, I don't think some of them know. Some of them, some of them know.
hmm
So, hmm.
Hmm.
Well, let's lift up again. Let's continue to lift up. This time organically, just inside.
Mm.
This is we're in April,
hmm
and this month is our fifth year recording this podcast.
It's our anniversary.
We made it. We did
Us
it.
and you and me.
We did it. You know, like I said a couple episodes ago, I didn't think we would be back here with this administration
hmm
since we were leaving that administration. It was like breaking up with an abusive, toxic person, and then like, oh shit, we're back.
hmm
So that does cloud some of the anniversary, but it doesn't deter our joy all the way. Like this is 5 years is a long time and it is a feat. So, just patting ourselves on the back. We did it.
Okay. Every
Um,
week,
whew, just
haven't missed a
about.
time.
Just about, we'll plan ahead, we'll shuffle, but yeah,
We
yeah,
made
we
it.
this show is what is there? If there's 52 weeks in a year, how much do we record on average?
I mean, we record we
Certainly
have
like,
250 some episodes.
yeah,
This will be 253. So, yeah.
we don't miss. I mean, but like us actually
Oh,
recording,
as
not
actually
yeah,
recording?
not the action, yeah. Us
I mean,
actually like
still,
how many
still,
weeks a year? I feel like we're still firmly
I
in the
think we're still
40
in the
weeks a
40s, the
year.
high
Yeah.
40s.
You think so? I
I
think
do. Because it's like
middle
we didn't
40s at
really, there
least.
was like when you had Emery, there was
Hmm.
like the period that we had to like shift and do stuff.
Yeah.
We add in maybe one to two other podcasts that were on a year
Yeah.
plus
I
guests
feel
and
like
stuff. But yeah,
you
we do a
certainly
pretty good
started
job.
to travel even more in the later years. So that's why I was like lower to mid 40s a
I
year
still
on
think we make it
average.
because then it's
I
like
don't know.
we bank. We do a
Mm,
really good job at banking.
we do. But then that
So,
means that we don't have to, record every week. So it doesn't matter. We're in the 40s is what we agree on. Definitely
and we
40
love the
weeks a
40s.
year for
We love the
sure.
40s.
Yeah, 5 years. It's certainly flown by. So, you know, we
So,
decided to get together
mhm.
and come up with some anniversary events that like work for community. It's virtual, it's in person. So, Shayna, I think
It's in
you best can
person.
run down our list of anniversary events.
Yes. All right. So, y'all, 4 or 5 years, we want to celebrate with you. We want to hang out with community. We want to talk to y'all more. We want y'all to be able to talk to us. We want to hang out. So, this month, we have a bunch of different things that are happening. So, first, by the time this episode comes out, this will have passed. But for the folks who get to see this beforehand, before the episode comes out, we will be doing a live chat in our Patreon for the women's NCAA title game. We are going to be in the Patreon chat talking a lot of shit, asking a lot of questions about the championship game. Fingers crossed, Gamecocks are in there so I can talk a hell of a lot of shit. So we will be doing that on Sunday, April 6th. And then the joy of joys, the praise of praise, the things that we are going to love and appreciate for eternity. Chris watches a musical and is starting with the pinnacle of pinnacle musicals. We're going to watch
Mm,
Wicked. We are going to watch the whole two
the
hours and
pinnacle.
40 minutes of Wicked. Come hang out with us Sunday, April 13th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. It is open to all of our paid Patreon users. Go find us on Patreon. We're going to watch the musical. It's going to be great. We're going to hear Chris's commentary. I'm just going to giggle
It's
and enjoy
so
myself.
long.
I'm
2 hours and
so
40 minutes.
excited. Save it for the recording.
Insane.
Save it for the live. It's
It's
okay. Save it for the
insane.
live.
It's
Save it for the live.
insane.
It's fine.
Oh my
It's fine.
God.
Save it for the time.
Mm,
And then
mm.
Friday, April 25th, if you are in and around the Chicago area, we will be doing an in-person live podcast salon with Anna Deshawn, who we have had on the podcast, runs Queer News and the Cube Network. This is our first IRL event that we will be doing. So we've did our first like in-person recording last year. Now we are doing our first IRL event with the podcast salon, which basically comes in, introduces the podcast to new people, allows folks to sit and kind of ask us questions and just engage with us in a really cool, intimate setting in Chicago. Come
Hmm.
hang out with us. Come meet us
Should be
in
fun.
person. And then Chris and I, while we're together hanging out in Chicago, Chris's first visit to Chicago, it's going to be a great time. Of course, we're going to do another in-person recording, and that episode will be released on Monday, the 28th. So you got April 6th, April 13th in Patreon, April 25th in person with us, and April 28th, our IRL episode will be released. So get your tickets. We're going to have it in the description. We're going to have it on our social media links. If you can't find it, DM us, email us, whatever. But we are so excited to hang out with you for 5-year anniversary.
Come hang out.
All right, so let's go ahead into our category is we're going to praise, pray, tell. Our first category is talking about the shutdown of offices, the continued shutdown of offices. The HIV prevention office is shut down at the CDC. So in the US, if you're listening internationally, we have a Center for Disease Control, or the CDC, which has funding from the government to help keep us Americans alive and healthy and aware of things that are going on. They specifically shut down the HIV prevention office. So the morning, it was this past Tuesday, I believe, uh, thousands of employees at the Center for Disease and Control were notified that they were subject to a reduction in force, which means that programs and offices were effectively immediately shut down. Employees at the workers in the Division of Environmental Health Science and Practice, the Division of Population Health, the Division of HIV Prevention, the Division of Reproductive Health, the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health, and the National Center for Injury Prevention and Control all received those notices. In addition to those divisions, offices were closed, including National Centers for Chronic Disease Prevention and Health Promotion around HIV, viral hepatitis, STDs, and tuberculosis prevention, environmental health, immunization and respiratory diseases, and the Global Health Center. Multiple sources at HHS and the CDC say that notices began being sent around 5 a.m. Tuesday morning, and employees no longer had access to their government offices. The Division for HIV Prevention was one of the hardest hit. At the division, where the mission is to promote health and quality of life by preventing HIV infection and reducing HIV-related illness and death in the U.S., at least half of the employees received those notices. Joseph Cherubi, I hope I said your name correctly. I feel like I butchered it. A physician and assistant professor at Washington
All
University
right.
in St. Louis says the impact will be catastrophic. We are going to see people die of AIDS in the US in 2025, said Sarah Ziegler, who was formerly an associate director at the CDC. And it's just a continued rollout of things that we should be concerned about. So I got this from Here's Why Kevin and Wired.
Woof.
Hmm.
Uh, well, this is uplifting in its own way. I saw some people kind of poo-poo this earlier,
Of
but
course they're gonna
I
poo-poo
think
it
it's
because people
great.
need have reasons to poo-poo everything. They don't
Always,
care. I'm like, you stand
always.
up and do this.
It's so crazy. The
Don't talk
things
to
that
me.
people hate
I
on
hate people.
nowadays. The
I hate
category
people.
is good trouble. Senator Cory Booker breaks a 68-year-old Senate record with a 25-hour speech. Senator Cory Booker spent a full day standing on the Senate floor, delivering an impassioned speech in protest of the Trump administration policies. His effort, which involved dozens of Senate Democrats who asked questions throughout and kind of made it interactive, sets a record for the longest speech on record in the chamber. So the New Jersey Democrat took the podium on Wednesday around 7 Eastern, vowing to speak as long as he's physically able. He finished his speech just after 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday with a tribute to John Lewis, ending in the words, "Let's get in good trouble." Booker's speech officially surpasses the previous record set in 1957 by noted segregationist Strom Thurmond, who filibustered for 24 hours and 18 minutes to oppose the Civil Rights Act. This was widely viewed online. I was glad people were paying attention to this. By the evening, Cory Booker's speech had eclipsed over 350 million likes on TikTok Live, and more than 100,000 people were watching him make history. And this is from NPR. So we want to congratulate Cory Booker for that. And, my God, like he said that he kind of dehydrated himself before, so he didn't have to pee because people were like speculating like what was going on with that.
Hmm.
But that's a lot of willpower and just, again, this symbolism in breaking Strom Thurmond's record, previous record, who he was a racist, he was a segregationist. I'm just glad to see some people standing up in this time and doing things that do matter and bring attention. So shout out to Cory Booker for getting in good trouble.
Hmm. These are the times when we're like, hey, Democrats, do something.
Yeah, this is this is better than the shirts or signs. Let's do something like this. And the whole time too, so he didn't, some of these filibusters they read out of the phone book and everything, but he
Yeah.
kept talking about basically the policies he was against that Trump's administration is pushing, uh, democratic values and policies that they want to push. So he kept it interactive and he didn't just, again, read from the phone book, which some people do,
Hmm.
because you do have to read continuously. Like you can't stop. Again, there were dozens of Democrats who asked questions and made it interactive. So he made sure to like keep it on topic. Like it wasn't
Yes.
just some filler 25 hours. Like,
Yeah. Him and his
so
team did really well with it, from the
really
letters
good.
that he read from constituents to the different points that he made. I mean, honestly, this proved that there's plenty of content to talk about when it comes to this presidency and what's happening with it, and that you can
Yeah,
talk about it for over a day of all the problems that are
truly
here.
can.
You
Yeah.
He probably could have continued if he hadn't been exhausted, but that's just proof of how not normal this is,
Yeah.
and how important it is to point out all of these things that are not okay, that affect our livelihood, that people are very late on coming to the party on because they voted for one thing thinking that it wouldn't impact them. And now they're realizing that all of these things are impacting them and it's making the nation worse.
Yep.
So I'm very happy that
Yeah.
he went out and did this. There's so many talking points that will continue to come out over the coming weeks with this as well, because
Hmm.
obviously nobody, well, maybe some people stayed up to watch the whole thing, and kudos to you
Yeah.
for standing in
If you
solidarity, but
did.
continue to pay attention to the notes of import that he was able to do. And if people are wondering why, like, the filibustering is such an important part of our government system, it effectively stops what Congress is doing.
Hmm.
Like, it doesn't allow them to vote on anything. It doesn't allow them to change the subject or bring up any new laws or bills or anything like that. It effectively stops everything that's happening and forces you to pay attention to the issue that the person who is filibustering is talking about. So that's a big deal for us here, and why we're glad he did it. So, yes. All right. Well, our final category is, we got another one. Tanner Adell comes out as pansexual, and we love to see it. So while on the red carpet at the Billboard Women in Music Awards, Tanner Adell, country singer, you probably know her from the recent collaboration on Cowboy Carter with Beyonce, came out as pansexual. So Out Magazine had asked her about her connection to the community, being the LGBTQ plus community, and she simply stated, "Yeah, I'm pansexual."
Mm. It's casual. Yeah.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love that it was casual, because she's probably like, "What are you
What's your
talking about?"
connection to community? So I am
Am
community.
bit
So
about
it's
this
like
life. And then
I all the welcome packages,
truly,
we're so always so happy to go back there
she
and
was like, I
pull.
got those. I got that a while
Yeah.
ago. It's okay. Save that for somebody else. It's fine. It's fine. And she added, it's funny when people ask me about my sexual orientation, but I feel like you should be able to hear that in my music. And then she finished and said, don't worry, there's more of that coming. And I was like, yes, that means we're getting gay country
Oh,
songs.
so she was saying we should have known because it was in the music?
Yes. So Tanner has previously mentioned that her song Strawberry Crush alludes to discovering her queer sexuality, and in the song she fantasizes about a woman she sees buying fruits and vegetables. And she continued to say that the moment before you dive into your sexuality and coming out and things like that, having a crush on someone while hiding in the grocery store because you see this beautiful woman is just like a common occurrence that happens among people, which I'm like, that is accurate. I
Yeah,
have hidden from cute people in stores. It is a thing that happens.
that's funny.
She has also mentioned that when she has shows, she appreciates that the gays bring it out there in assless chaps. And that's exactly what she has always dreamed of in her performances.
Well, I don't know how it went under the radar if it was already mentioned in her song, but
Hmm.
either way, we're gonna send this package out because when you confirm like this, like I feel like it's like extra kind of cherry on top. And like people don't have to
Absolutely.
speculate. Also with the music thing, there I don't think it's that strong anymore. Maybe that it is, but like the queer baiting that used to happen, especially in our like millennial generation, I feel like Rihanna, a bunch of stars would come out and be like, am I? Or, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like,
Oh, and in the
oh,
videos.
the videos and everything. They
Uh,
would have these interviews where they kind of dropped like they're, and then it was just never. And maybe they were, yeah, there was definitely an era of music where they were like, oh, they are pandering for sure. They're queer
mhm.
baiting. So Tanner, welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome. I'm sorry we didn't know this before.
Yes.
We have a smaller company now. Not even company. Smaller association now, but we'll get the welcome packet out and you know, happy. She's definitely gonna book a lot for Pride.
Mm. The
The
pride,
the
the
Pride
pride booking
calls.
just went up.
Yes, I
Just
could
went up.
if you're quiet enough, you could hear it. The Pride DMs arriving
Mm,
in her inbox if you're
hmm
very quiet.
mm.
So, congratulations
Good for her.
and welcome.
Get that coin. Get
Yep.
that coin. My goodness.
All right, let's move on to our advice segment, Am I a Bad Queer? Where we get real about your questions and dilemmas. Got something on your mind? Don't keep it to yourself. Send your questions to badqueers.com. Hit us up on IG at badqueerspod or email us at badqueers@badqueers.com. All right, this first one is from Anonymous, who we will name Jerry. Jerry, but no, this is, oh, Toby. Okay, let's go down to the second one. This is
All
from
good.
Toby. Toby asked, Am I back queer? I need y'all to tell me if I'm out of pocket. So I've been dating my girlfriend for about a year now. Love her. She treats me right. She's fine. She even made me a playlist with Summer Walker and Brent Fayez. So you know it's real. Um, it's a little toxic,
I
both
know.
of them.
Just I was like, what?
I was like, both
I
of
was
them are a
like,
little,
I'm
yeah,
concerned about where this is going.
toxic R&B. But I also have what I like to call a backup bae.
Mm,
It's nothing serious, just it's actually very Summer Walker and Brent Fayez.
yeah.
It's nothing serious, just this very attractive ex situationship that I kept in my back pocket. We don't
Mm,
talk all the time, but we send a little how you been text every few months. And I may or may not have liked an Instagram story or two. My girlfriend doesn't know because I don't think it's a thing. But my best friend said I'm wrong for even keeping the door cracked. I personally think I'm just being realistic. Have y'all seen the queer dating pool lately? It's shallow. And if my relationship were to go left, I don't want to start from scratch. Plus, I'm
yeah.
not doing anything, no flirting, no meetups, nothing. But my friend swears this is messy behavior. So am I a bad queer for keeping a backup option? Or am I just playing the game with wisdom?
Not with
Toby, look,
wisdom.
Toby trying to lead the witnesses. Toby's
Right?
like,
This is
aren't I just
full,
being smart?
full
So,
baiting,
yeah.
baiting the witnesses.
Mm,
100%. Wow, what an argument. Keep that friend around.
yeah. 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 Yeah.
Keep that friend,
Toby,
Toby.
you are back queer. I feel like you don't need to keep this backup option. Like you keep it warm, you check in, y'all check in every couple of months. I know you're not doing anything or y'all aren't having any like there's still an emotional attachment. And it's weird to take that into the next relationship. You could get into a situation where you might hit a rough patch in your current relationship and then you start comparing it to the backup bay, or the backup bay may seem like more realistic or push you to kind of make a decision you wouldn't already make if you weren't attached to that. Um, and yeah, I wouldn't want that going on to me. So like I wouldn't want my person who I'm in a relationship with to have a backup bae, even if they're not talking. Just
Hmm
I wouldn't want that. So yeah, you're messy for this. This is
So
bad queer
messy.
behavior because you can if you break up, I know it's shallow out there, but I mean you could find somebody else. Or you could talk to backup bae. Like you could always circle the block or spin the block or whatever. Like you can always like talk to that person, it seems like, especially if y'all
Hmm
check in on each other and hey stranger each other every couple months. So it's weird hold.
It
It's like,
is
do
a weird
you
hold.
you like I feel like you might like backup bay more than you're letting on, because why are they backup bay anyway? Like what
Hmm
happened with that? So messy.
So messy. This is messy behavior. Your friend is correct. This is messy behavior. Like you are 1 foot out the door already. Like you're like keeping the door cracked. No, your foot is out the door because you have a backup plan for your relationship. If you're saying that your girlfriend is fine and she's wonderful and she made you a playlist and you love her, then keep the door closed. Stop air conditioning out the neighborhood. That's wild for you to sit and say this and you're like, oh yeah, but the dating pool is terrible. And it's like, no, because that just means that you're already prepared to hop back into the dating pool immediately instead of taking care of yourself after a breakup, which is a red flag anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you bad queer for this. Keep that friend though. That friend's looking out for you.
Wisdom.
You should probably that your friend has the wisdom.
Toby was
You
like,
are not
I'm just playing the game with wisdom.
there's no wise behavior here. A for effort though. You are a
Yeah,
wordsmith.
you tried.
Okay,
You tried.
you painted a really
Yeah.
solid story, but
Yeah, no.
no, bad queer.
No.
Bad queer,
No.
Toby.
Hmm.
Hope that helps.
Mm-mm-mm. Happy Pride.
All
So,
right. Yes, yes, our next one, anonymous. Well, you already named it Jerry, so we'll call it Jerry. So Jerry says, am I a bad queer? I'm pretty new to all of this. I came out as non-binary about 6 months ago, which I feel so much more like me. Also, I feel kind of lost. I didn't grow up around a lot of queer people, and now that I'm finally stepping into this world, it feels like everyone already knows the rules, the history, the culture, and I'm just standing in the corner, hoping nobody realizes I'm clueless. I went to my first queer event last week. It was a game night at a local LGBTQ center, and I swear everyone was speaking a language I didn't understand. People were debating queer media I've never seen, talking about drag families like that's just a normal thing to have. And don't get me started on the gender, sexuality micro labels. I barely got comfortable saying non binary. Now I'm supposed to have an opinion on neo pronouns. I want to be a part of the community, but I feel like I'm so behind. I get nervous that if I say the wrong thing or don't know something, I'll be judged. Am I a bad queer for not being fully plugged in yet, or does everyone go through this? Jerry. Jerry, this is very normal, especially in today's day and age. And I don't know how old you are also. So if you came out later in life, you probably did not pay attention to a lot of the media or the stories or what was happening. And it's the reason why we started the podcast, because we feel like people came out and as soon as you come out, everybody expects you to have like this download of all queer culture, all queer slang, all queer stories, all history that has impacted our community, and you should be able to recite it at a moment's notice. And that was the whole reason why we created the podcast, was because that's just not true and it's not realistic. You'd have to study so much if we did that. It's almost like you'd have to come out and then we kidnap you and put you in a room for a week and a half to learn everything and watch everything and do all of that. It's just not realistic.
only to re-kidnap you because there's going to be new things that happen
Yep.
every day,
Yeah.
new terms. So
Just
we
gonna
have
be
to
regular
actually bring you
kidnapping.
back probably in a couple months. Yeah, it's a regular kidnapping.
Yeah.
We'll call it a retreat, but you know,
Yes. That's what it
yeah,
really is.
new terms.
Yep. So yeah, so you know, you're already here, so that's a great start. You get to listen and learn and grow with the podcast. You can say that you listen to this podcast, give us a shameless plug, and be like, oh, have y'all heard of XYZ thing? People also love introducing people to LGBTQ plus culture a lot of times. Like not in a way like if you feel like you have to burden somebody where it's just like, well, tell me everything, teach me everything. But no, if you're like, wait, what show was that? I haven't checked that out yet. Would love to. And then come back and talk to them about it. And it's a great friendship start. It's a great friendship stepping stone. We don't kick you out if you don't know things. It is okay.
Too much to know.
There's
Too much
way
to
too
know.
much to know. And not
It's just too much.
any of us and all of us don't know everything. So I'm learning stuff new all the time. Chris is learning stuff new all the time. It's okay. You're not a backward for not being fully plugged in yet. And you probably never will be fully plugged in because there's always something else happening and there's always new sub
Yeah.
things happening. There's always new slang coming out.
They'll change the plug,
Yep.
you know,
Okay.
change the
It's like
attachment. So
Apple.
you always just
Every few
gotta,
years, then it's like,
oh my
can't use
God.
that one. Doesn't work
Mm-hmm.
anymore. So don't
Yeah.
feel bad at all. Ask the questions. Find your safe people so that you can be like, hey, psst, what was that? Can you explain that to me? And go from there. And it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay.
And
Welcome
you
to the
have the
community.
option of asking people, which you should, and it's community like, but you could also just research this on your own too. The
Hmm.
internet is there and it's
TikTok
available.
is
So you're
there.
right where you TikTok is there.
Hmm.
Short video explanations. You don't even have to read anymore, which is a good and a bad thing.
I came here to
Um,
lead, not
but
to read.
but Jerry, you're right where you need to be, so just have fun exploring and getting comfortable with saying non-binary and all the things that make our community wonderful and meeting great people and all that.
Yeah,
So yeah, you're fine.
like you're already doing the steps. You went to a queer night, a queer game night. You're
It's
talking to
big.
people.
Yeah.
You're listening to us. Like you're doing great. You're already ahead of the game. Congratulations.
On the right
Welcome.
track.
Welcome to the community.
Yeah. Happy Pride. Okay, this last one. Here's another Anon. We'll call it Nicole. Hey Chris and Shayna, am I a bad queer for wanting to recloset myself? Huh. While I explore my
Shoutouts.
sexuality. Recloset. Recloset.
I'm going back.
Um, Going
I
back.
don't like it out here. I am
Yeah,
overstimulated.
right. I've been out as a butch lesbian for years in a long-term relationship, whole identity solid. But now that I'm newly single, I'm questioning if that's still the full picture. The thing is I've got grown kids in college, long-standing friendships, and family who have known me one way for decades. I don't feel ready to open up about this when I'm still figuring it out myself. I just want to explore in peace without feeling like I have to explain myself to people who have only seen me as one thing. Is it wrong to keep this part of my journey private, or am I a bad queer for wanting to step back into the closet while I sort things out? Okay. Hmm. That's interesting because you want to be able to explore and, do it privately. You don't want to have to explain yourself. But let me tell you something, Nicole. It sounds like you are an independent person. You're grown. You pay your own bills. You actually don't have to explain anything to anybody at all. And like wherever you land, it might change again. So you don't have to explain anything to anybody while you're exploring. You don't have to keep it private. You don't have to like recloset yourself. You could go and do your thing. If somebody asks you about it, answer that question when it comes. But a lot of the times I think we kind of like psych ourselves into thinking it's going to be a big thing and it's not. And, there's nothing to be ashamed of, exploring your identity if this feels like it's, if things have changed and you want to explore and all that. So you're grown and you don't have to explain anything is really it. Like I think you're making this bigger than what it is. Like it doesn't sound like it's going to affect any like job or anything that, would mess with your quality of life. So yeah, this is like all social pressure you're kind of putting on yourself because grown kids in college, they got
Hmm.
questions. I got questions too. How are your grades? Who are you talking to? Why are you ordering so much off DoorDash? Like, if we're playing the question game, we're playing the question game. But yeah, like I don't think, you don't gotta be, you don't gotta recloset yourself. So
Mm-mm.
go
You
out and
truly don't.
explore.
This whole question is just a big thing of people minding their business, but it sounds like you're doing all of the work to help folks mind their business when really folks just need to mind their business on their own and you just get to go and live your life. You're grown. You more than grown.
Hmm.
Your kids are out of the house. You are out of a whole relationship. You get to do whatever you want to do. This is just a normal reawakening, inventing yourself, seeing what the freedom is. It sounds like you've lived a very comfortable life. And yeah, sometimes when people
Hmm.
see change in the person that they're used to, it's weird for them, especially at older ages. And that's what it is. And you could just tell people, you know what? Mind your business. I'm going to go out and do me. I'm going to
Yep.
be out in these places. I'm going to do these things because I can, because I get to live my whole life. And you, I don't need to hear your commentary. I don't need to hear your opinions. I get to do me. You don't have to put yourself back in the closet, back in the box, back in anything. Just tell people to mind their business. You get to live your life.
Yeah. And with this very raggedy world,
Mm.
very raggedy, very, very raggedy. 0 stars. 1.5. There's some good people.
There's some good
Um,
people. That's some
whatever
good stuff.
time we have left here, you might as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like that will be our theme from year 5 and moving forward. But like, there's no need to recloset or shrink yourself or be paralyzed by like the judgment of others anymore because most of this is just social stuff. Most of these things are made up, and people need to mind their business. Like that's it. So happy Pride. I mean, Pride's coming up, so you will get to explore. You'll get out there. So have fun. And yeah, I don't want to worry about any of this stuff. So hmm, good on Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go
It's
out
like,
there and
yeah,
explore.
you go out there, do that for you, girl. Have
Yeah.
fun.
All right. Well, that was this week's Am I a Bad Queer? You could send your questions to badqueers.com, hit us up on IG at badqueerspod, or email us at badqueers@badqueers.com.
All right, what type of bad queers will we be if we didn't have unpopular queer opinions? I will go ahead and jump in first. I've started to see a lot more people posting about how they're going to be creating more safe spaces. But then this one comes specifically from somebody who has announced that they want to open a bar here in Chicago, but then went on to list a bunch of other things that just made you kind of be like,
Hmm.
should you? Should you?
Hmm.
Should you be? And a few other videos that I've seen from people in other cities who are like, I'm going to open up this bar. I'm going to open up this meetup. I'm going to open up this stuff. It's just, it's a lot because then
Should
it's
you?
always the second half. No, literally that. The second half of it is like, I'm going to open up this space, but let me tell you about all of my traumas and all
Hmm.
of my things and maybe why it's not the best thing for me to pay for this right now because I've never had a consistent source of income, but I'm going to do it anyway and all of these
Hmm.
things. Look, I'm here to root for anybody in their dreams. I love that. I love that you want to
Go
create
dream.
safe spaces for the LGBTQ plus community because we know that we need them. But my bad queer opinion is that not everyone should be building safe spaces. And it's okay for us to be wary of some of the safe spaces that are out there. Just because you title it doesn't mean that's what it is. It doesn't mean that's what it is, okay? Building safe spaces takes building culture, building community, building awareness. There's a lot of layers that go into it, and the people running it have to be like trusted figures. You see this a lot of time with event promoters and
Hmm.
their messy dating lives and things that fall into the parties, and then, stuff goes downhill for a bit, and then they come
Hmm.
back and it's great.
A lot of
Um,
spillage.
a lot of spillage.
A lot of
And
spillage.
for some of the folks that are trying to build some of these spaces, there's a lot of that spillage. And I'm like, I understand there's a lot of excitement. It's an exciting time for our safe spaces to be growing, doubling, tripling in size. It's great to see it. And be wary of it because not everyone should be building safe spaces. And that's my piece.
I love it.
Thank you.
Makes sense. So not all safe spaces are created equal,
Okay.
and they are not all safe.
Mm-mm.
So, mm.
We got to be aware.
Is it? Is it safe? So
You in there and
you
you're just
gotta
like,
take it up a octave,
should
several
I?
octaves. Mm.
You remember what happened at this party? Did anybody fix that?
Should
No?
you?
I reported this. What happened? Excuse me. What happened after that?
I
Nothing.
know.
Not a
And shout
safe
out
space.
to us though, because we have been fighting allergies this entire episode. It
We
is allergy
have.
season,
We
and it
have.
has been trying to get us, but we are, hey,
Pushing.
warriors, so brave, so
Pushing.
brave, both of
So
us.
yeah, if you heard those extra coughs, sniffles, whatever, we're doing our best.
Ooh, yeah, shout out to everybody.
Okay. Fighting these allergies.
Mm, 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 mm. Well, my bad queer opinion is that I think we should talk more openly about the positive masculine traits out there, the
Hmm.
ones we all love, you know? I we can't stop talking about toxic masculinity because it still shapes too much of our world.
Hmm.
And woof, like it has made a resurgence the last couple years. A lot of red pill content, a lot of things that are disguised but are just like harmful,
Red pill
antiquated
content.
stereotypes. A
It's
lot of that trad what is trade wives, trad wives, whatever. That whole
wives. Trad
Is it
wise.
trad? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That whole thing is also a little under some of
Yeah, because
them
it's traditional, so it's like
are a
trad
little,
wives. Yeah.
yeah. You could slippery slope into some,
Hmm.
red pill content. But there's also room to acknowledge that there's healthier, more positive traits of masculinity that folks can embody. So I was like, let me write down the ones that I've experienced, masculine traits that are positive that I experience and observed and admire, which include courage and bravery. So great. A protective nature without possessiveness,
Mm.
a deep respect for all people, especially those closest to you, while never tolerating disrespect. Integrity, leading by example through actions, kindness, and wisdom rather than demanding obedience and, violence and dominance. I also value the role of an active parent and nurturer. There have always been men and folks who identify with masculinity that have been active parents and nurturers. You don't always see it highlighted. You see it highlighted way more, which is great. But
Hmm.
always been those positive traits around. And then also, when needed or expected, a provider. I know it's a different world. Women are allowed to have a job and
Mm.
build wealth and all that.
Wild.
I know, what a foreign concept.
Just the
But
70s.
yeah,
Wow.
a provider when needed or an equal partner. So those are traits that um aren't exclusive to masculinity. Like I feel like both of them are present in masculinity and femininity, but I'm recognizing them within masculinity to help redefine what it means to be strong and kind and masculine without the toxicity. So, I would love to see more people talking about the positive masculine traits that they do love because we
Mm.
all have experienced both and have men in our lives that have exhibited that. And yeah, I think we should have a space for people to talk about them and label them as traditional, but not get scared. Traditional is like, ooh, what do they mean? Because
Hmm.
it's a slippery slope into being homophobic and transphobic and obviously sexist. But there are some positive masculine traits that are out there, or traditionally masculine traits. So yeah, just wanted to speak on it.
I love that. I do think it's something that we should highlight because it's not all bad.
It's not.
It's not all
It's
bad.
not.
Like the videos that you see of guys, there was one video I saw recently. This woman brought home another puppy,
Mm.
and the guy opened the door, of course, tried to act hard, and then he's talking to the dog the whole time. Like, doesn't even look at his wife. He's just talking to the dog, like, "Where you come from? What you doing here? Who
Oh.
invited you?"
Was this like a Black people and their pets or Black
Uh-huh.
people love pets?
I
What
love the Black
a
People Love Pets
phenomenal
page. Like,
page.
if you want to see positive
Uh,
masculinity, go to the Black People Love Pets page on Instagram, and you will live your best life.
that one and most of like the Black parenting pages are also great. Like
Yes.
I mean, there's definitely more of that being highlighted, but again, I think, sometimes when people mention traditional masculinity and everything, you do think of the antiquated and violent and patriarchal
Yeah.
things, but there's some great
But
stuff,
there's some great stuff, and you see,
good stuff.
like you listed, there's the love and care, there's the time, there's the advice,
Mm-hmm.
there's, the hugs that take the breath out of you. Like
Mm-hmm.
so many
Mm-hmm.
things that
Yeah.
should be highlighted and amplified because they're like at the same time that there's the toxic masculine traits, there's also talking about, you know what, that's a good black man. That's just
Yeah.
a good black
I
man.
love saying
You
that
know?
too.
I love that. Look at that.
You
Look
can
at
like,
that.
or like,
Yeah.
look at him. He got some manners,
Mm,
Like that is
you love to
a
see it.
young man has some manners.
Okay, especially when you
So
have the young man statement, be like, "Hello, young man," and then it's
I
like,
know.
and they come back and they're
Yeah.
like, "Hello, sir," and all the things. They're like, "Look at that young
Very
man,"
respectful.
and it just
Mm-hmm.
embodies all of the other descriptors that you
Mm-hmm.
provided, and it's so great to be able to
We sound
see
like
and
a 90s
appreciate it.
McDonald's
No, because
commercial.
we are, we embodied our childhood in that moment of like these were the things
So
that we
funny.
watched when it went well,
Yeah.
and it's great to be able to see that, and I think a lot of times because of the tropes and the media and the
Mm-hmm.
people, we forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to remember that we have actually come a really long way. And while toxic masculinity is rampant at the highest form of political fortresses,
It's
I don't know
back.
what the best word for that, but at the highest level right now, we should be amplifying this and also appreciating it when women and non-binary folks are showing it too, because
Yeah.
it also just does not exist just for the
Mm-hmm.
men. And
It
it's
does
very
not.
fun to be able to do that as
Hey,
women.
masculinity and femininity are for everybody.
Everybody.
There you go. Get
They're for
yourself
everybody.
some.
They're for everybody.
Dunk your face into the water like you're waking up and doing. Did you see that video of that influencer with the Saratoga water that was doing his entire life, like his morning routine?
Hmm.
That's been there's been now countless videos where they redo it. But you seen that, right? It was like all going through his morning. It was insane. But anyways, put your face in the icy water of masculinity and femininity. It's for everyone.
It's for
Everybody can
everybody.
have it.
Yes. Yeah. Didn't he
It's
wake
for
up like hella
everybody.
early? He woke up like hella early and did his thing.
He did, but he did all that and it was like nothing getting done. He did 6 hours of bullshit. Like it's just like
I know.
what?
It
Like
just
he's
never
smearing
really
a
seemed
banana
efficient.
peel on his face. Like
The banana peel dude. There we
just
go.
didn't.
Okay. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Once they were like,
Yes.
oh yeah, it's a banana peel guy, and I was like, I don't trust this.
Yeah, there's a
I
lot
don't.
not to trust. There's a
There's a lot
lot
of
not to
other black
trust.
women out here that are showing me what I need to be doing in the morning at an efficient way, and this guy's just like 6 hours, and
Yeah.
I'm like, for what?
For
For what?
what?
I still got to go
Yeah.
to the gym. I still got to make breakfast. Like I'm just smearing breakfast all over my face. No, no, thank you.
He did a lot of nothing. God
Banana
bless him.
peel.
Hmm.
Wow. All right. Well, on that note, let's go ahead and wrap up the show. But we would never leave you without giving shout outs to our faves. My shout out this week goes to B. Steadwell, who is the author of Chocolate Chip City. They stated that they wrote the kind of book that they wanted to read. Black women and queer people at the center. It's got magic, hot, sexy scenes, and is grounded in spirit, resistance, and dreams, and in DC. So
Thought it could
basically,
be.
they stated
Ooh.
that they stated or put the question out there. Imagine what DC would look like if we all stepped into our power.
Hmm.
So this book is coming out June 3rd. Already have it on my watch list for the books, but you can keep up with the updates on IG at B Steadwell, BE Steadwell.
Gotta look out for that one. All right, my shout out is to Shondell Washington Spivey, who was elected the first Black and LGBTQ mayor of La Crosse, Wisconsin
Yeah,
on Tuesday.
Wisconsin did the big ones with their
They
elections
did.
this
Thank
year. I
y'all.
was
Thank
like,
y'all. Thanks,
Wisconsin,
Wisconsin.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stop the bleeding a little bit. Jesus.
Thank you so much.
Oh, jeez. He was out here giving out $1 million again. It was just like,
Like, who
Lord
knew?
Jesus.
Who
Like,
knew that Wisconsin would beat out Musk?
yeah.
Yep, coming in, dropping millions on against the judge, and for us to get the judge that we wanted, the one that Obama told us to vote for. Wow, look at this. Look at this. Sorry,
Look
please
at it.
continue. Get your shout
No,
outs.
it's just thank you, Wisconsin is also
Thank
a
you,
shout out.
Wisconsin.
Whew. But Washington Spivey is a former elected school board member and community leader who co-founded the Black Leaders Acquiring Collective Knowledge, or Black Inc., a nonprofit organization that supports lacrosse youth through various programs and initiatives. He also served on Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers' Advisory Council on Equity and Inclusion. Congratulations to Mayor Washington Spivey.
All right, some good news. All sorts
Some
of
good
things.
news.
We love that. All right, before we leave you all, before next week, remember 5-year anniversary events. If you forget what we listed or stated at the beginning of the show, I will give a quick breakdown one more time. And you can find this wonderful graphic on our Instagram at BigBadCursPod, and we'll post it in other places. If you're on our newsletter will be coming out soon. All the things. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter, go to our website, backwards.com, sign up. But anniversary events, Sunday, April 6th, will be the Women's NCAA title game live chat. Sunday, April 13th, Chris gets to watch Wicked. We get to watch a musical, live talk about it. It's going to be great. And both the NCAA chat and Wicked will be hosted on our Patreon. So go sign up for our Patreon as low as $1 to come hang out with us. On April 25th, the Podcast Salon live in-person event in Chicago with Anna Deshawn from E3 Radio and the Cube Network. We're so excited. This is a ticketed event. You can find the tickets on our Instagram page. And then we will also be recording while Chris is visiting in Chicago. Our Bad Queers IRL episode release will happen Monday, April 28th. And we are so excited to hang out with you and celebrate 5 years of Bad Queers. For all of you who listen, thank you. If it's your first time coming, what a great time to join. And for everybody who's tuned in, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will see you next week.
Take care.